All right, so Red Cathedral and the expansion for Contractors. These games between the two of them have a ton of components, resources, cards, dice, all sorts of stuff, and then you add the expansion in and you're going to suddenly have more resources and more cards and more player boards and oh my gosh. To play this game without an insert is insanity. I bought a nice insert from Etsy, which actually makes this game much easier to set up, and it makes it much easier to organize and store. So let me go over that. Inside the Contractors box, this is where we're going to have the main bulk of the game, okay? We have 2 resource trays here, okay? And there's actually little grooves here to help you pull them out. Now, inside here, both of these, you can put them on different sides of the table or whatever. We're going to have our wood, our brick, our stone, our gold, our different gems, our money, our contracts. Okay, and we're going to have 2 of these. So boom, just right off the bat there, already we're not opening 10,000 little baggies and stuff. Those are good to go, okay? Now inside here, we have our dice, that are easily pulled out. You're good to go there. We have this thing here, which is going to have all of our different tokens, which is great. Now this portion here is going to kind of depend on what you're playing with, because depending on your cards, you're going to need different resources, right? So depending on, this isn't a rules teach, but depending on the cards, you might need these little gem things, you might need these little brick tokens, you might need this little meeple guy, this contractor guy who goes around. You might need these particular cards, but if you need them, they're nice and easily accessible. Here we have a couple of these cards if needed, along with this guy. Again, depending on which cards you're playing with. These are going to be for if you play with the Contractors expansion, they go to the top of the cathedrals. And again, I'm not going over the rules, I'm just showing you how it's stored. So we got all those. Now over in here, I'll show you one of these little player trays because basically we have 4 of them and they're all very nice. These are going to have all of your score markers, your contractor meeples, your flags, your little components for the door and the windows and all that stuff. Everything you need for your player colors. You just hand these out as needed for the different players and you're good to go. And then lastly, in this little portion here, we're going to have the different sections of the cathedral. So you'll see here, it shows you the cathedral, 2-player, 3-player, 4-player, blah, blah, blah. This side doesn't have anything, but it just kind of shows you, we've got the top portion, we've got the middle portion, we've got the bottom portion, and you can shuffle those up as needed. We also have these cards for different player counts, you can see the different setups. So for example, if we were going to do 2-player, it's like, okay, let's play with this one. Cool, whatever, And then we have 3-player and 4-player. So real easily, right off the bat, you can be like, okay, we got a 4-player game. Let me hand those out. Here's what our setup's going to be. We've got our different sections of the cards to be able to lay those out, etc. It's just so nice and convenient, right? So again, to put this back, we've got that. We've got this little portion, which I just put it right at the bottom here. Again, components as needed, depending on your setup and what version of the game you're playing. Same thing with all these tokens. Those just go right there. We've got our dice, which go right up here. This little portion with the bag, inside this bag, because I forgot to show this. Inside here, we're going to have these little things. So if you play with the Contractors, you might need to draw these out. So they just stay in this little bag here, which makes them nice and randomized real easy. And I just put them in this little white compartment right here, which will go right here. Boom, 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 boom. And then we have both of our resource trays. I guarantee you, if you do not have a resource tray or a nice little insert for this game, this portion is such a pain. Now, why do I have the other box though? Well, we obviously have a lot of things that didn't fit in that box. So in this box here, one, we're gonna have all of these different cards. Remember how I said it depends on your setup for the game? So this is going to hold all the different possibility of cards. So if you're going to use this guy, oh, let's use this one or whatever. Again, I'm not going to go over the setup of the actual game. This is just showing you how it's set up, and there's room for a couple more in case you have like promos or other expansions that come out and stuff. But those just stack right on top of each other on top here. Now, this is where we're going to have all our player boards and stuff, okay? Right here, you'll notice there's a little section for finger holds. This is where you can pull out your different player boards. There's one for each of the 4 players. Those go right on top there. Then this next little section here is for the contractor stuff. So there are 4, each color, and we'll talk about how we rebox that in a second. And then at the very bottom here, we have the contractor board and the main game board. And then we have our rule books. Okay, we've got the contractors and the normal Red Cathedral thing. Now what's nice is when you get this insert, you're not going to have this in here, but once you put this in here, you just leave it in, and it even shows you the order of stuff goes on here. So 2 manuals, the market and contractor boards, the contractor overlays, and the base boards. So if you forget the order things go in, it's right there. So first we have these rule books. We've got the game board, we've got the contractor board, and then you'll notice it's nice and flush right there, and it's lining up to right where it says next is the contractor board. So these contractor boards, they are technically, it's kind of hard to see, double layered. So what we do is we actually stack them like so. We kind of actually like this, right? So they're gonna go like that. No, I had it right the first time, yeah. Like this, sorry, boom. And that's gonna make it nice and thin to fit on there. And then same thing with this one, or you can even put it in like this, and then like that, okay? Then again, now we're at where it says base player boards. Well, that's these. Those go in right there. And then now we're flush with the top of this. And this is where we can put those trays of cards, okay? So that all fits right in there. So between these 2 boxes, oh my gosh, and it's like no lid lift either. You got all the components, all the expansions, nicely organized in these 2 boxes. So I hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe.